record on this computer. Okay, right. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Nice to have you all along. Today's agenda, let me just go here and change to the next slide. There we go. I'm going to run through the coach dashboard. It occurred to me, based on a bunch of questions I've been asked, that we get rusty with what's on the dashboard. And to be brutally honest, so do I. And I'm supposed to know what's cutting on that dashboard because things get added to it. So it's an evolving dashboard anyway, but we forget what's there. And some of us haven't explored everything that's there. So I'm going to take you through that. And then I'm going to open up to the floor just for a general question and answer session. And I'll probably give you an update on where we are with the opt-in story and talk a little about product and the rest too. So we'll have a general discussion after that. Okay. So I'm going to now stop sharing the slide deck and start sharing my dashboard. So this is my dashboard. So if you've got noises in the background, please mute. Okay. So this is my dashboard. So if you come to your dashboard for the first time and you have a look at this thing, and you say, well, gee, what are the different parts of it? The main part here is where you manage your customers. Okay. You send them an invite, they're in this column. You can basically resend them an invite if you want to. And there's someone entering. Who is coming to the party late? Guy, your airgram. And Suleiman is joining as well. Okay. So yeah, you can basically, as I said, you can resend an invite. Okay. That's all you can basically do if they're sitting in the invite section. Once they're registered, you can basically check their history a little bit. You can see what they've been up to. In this case, the guys have done the teaser X-ray as well. They signed up on the 9th, did the teaser, upgraded to the full program on the 20th. And of course, yeah, when they've now started, you can go and see where they are. Okay. So you can basically go and let's have a look at the strategy section here, for example. You can see here, there's 6 of them doing the X-ray. These guys, by the way, are doing the retake. They've had their X-ray for a while. So now they are doing the retake, which is one of the new features that we mentioned, I think, in the last webinar. So you can see here that Greg hasn't started and Sabira hasn't started, but the other 4 have done it. So you can actually just go and check each of these sections if you want to. So you can see where they actually are. Okay. Of course, when they get to the coach review, this is your tee up to go and review that X-ray. And if you don't know how to do that review, you're going to find your answer here in the resource center when I talk through that just now. And when they're done, they end up in this bucket over here. But you can also go there as the coach and go and have a look at what they're up to. And this is what I go there and do. Just excuse me a second. There are people still arriving, Alistair and Samantha. So basically, you can go and see where they are in their X-ray. And yeah, you can see, for example, remember we talked about the navigator and the ability to allocate ownership for each of these. You can see here, in this case, Justin at Go Metro has allocated ownership for each of those recommendations. So they've got an owner and they're working on them. And you can see here, there's 6 of these things in progress. And 2 are waiting for approval for Justin to go and approve them. So you can see they are actually working on it and they've already they've knocked off 1 of them. So here's an example of someone that is actually actively utilizing the X-ray and managing it. So remember we told you last time, this thing is now fully engaged. So before you did a snapshot once a year or however often you wanted to, now we encourage people to use it all the time. And the more people are using it, the more they're seeing value of it. So what I suggest you do is remind your clients that that feature is now available and that's how they should be using, because that's how they're going to get most value out of it. And when it comes to the end of the year, when renewal comes up, I'm going to ask you as the coach, is your client going to renew or not? And what I'm finding with renewals, if they're engaged with the X-ray, they are renewing. And if they're not engaged, they're umming and ahhing about it, okay? Because they've spent the money for a year and not done anything with it. And by the way, in many cases, that's been our fault because we haven't had the feature available for very long anyway. So I wouldn't read too much into that. You get them using it, and they'll be just fine. There's another person coming along. Okay, so that is basically how you manage the X-rays itself. Remember, you can add someone to the X-ray by just adding a contact. You put the details down over here, and then you can just, that's where you trigger the invite as well. So there's that piece. And then, yeah, this is the piece that I wanted to spend a little bit of time on today, is the resource center. Up at the top here is a collection of things that help you understand how this dashboard works. So for example, signing up, there's some stuff there. There's a dashboard walkthrough. You basically just, it steps you through what's on the dashboard. So it's a little explanation, and it goes through section by section to tell you what's what and what's where, and it takes you through a whole lot of stuff. Okay, I'm going to just cancel that. Then there is the demo X-ray. So you can actually review the demo X-ray from there. So it'll walk you through the demo X-ray. And it shows you how to invite your first clients as well via the button that I've just showed you. So there's basically some how-to stuff in there. And then there are a collection of demos. This is where the movie star Wayne gets involved and a few others. So there's just learning how to use the NXT-9 thing. Can you see this? Yeah. So basically what I did was I just recorded a few very simple videos on Loom. They're not professional. At some stage, we'll make them fancier, and then they'll probably get a movie star to do it instead of me. But basically, there are some videos here on how to use the X-ray, how to administer it, in other words, get it going and manage what I just told you just now, how to review it, what to look for when you review it, and then how to do the debrief, because that debrief is when the rubber hits the road for you as the coach with your client. What I find is when I do that debrief, that is actually where we agree what we're going to do about each of those recommendations, which ones they're going to act on. Are they going to just do it all themselves? They've got the capacity and capability to execute, or do they need help? And what I find here is an original engagement around a particular problem, which is sometimes a symptom rather than a root cause, turns into a collection of interventions for me via that debrief. So that debrief is actually a business development meeting for the coach, because now you're taking a big picture look at that business and you're working out what help they need more than just the one thing they asked you about. So that's an important one. Then there's the product card. And this is basically a 2-page document. And this is where the guts of it is. It basically tells you what this product actually does for you. So take the time to read it. And what you can do is you can share that with your clients as well. So first step, identify the root causes, prioritize, then what you have to go and do, how do you do it, navigate, are we on track?
I think it's hanging. We see your little circle on the NXT-9 product card. I don't know if anybody else can see.
Okay. Are you all seeing the little circle? Is it loading?
Yep. Hamster is on the treadmill.
Okay. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to speed that up then. Good. Thank you for that. It's good that Sean isn't bashful. He just calls a spade a spade. Tell me when you can see it from the product card.
You can see it?
Yeah, you can see it. Cool. Okay. So the trick for me there is don't just change windows. You've got to stop share and share again. So basically, there's 6 things that this product actually does. It helps you identify what's wrong. What are the root causes? It gives you a prioritization. So where should we actually work? Okay. And then what must we do? What is the action plan? Okay. And then if we don't know how to do that, we can go and get some help from the academy. There's a whole bunch of material. And remember, there are links to each of those recommendations as well. But there's a whole bunch more stuff sitting in the academy. And then you can use the navigate function, which is basically updating each of those recommendations and do the retake, all of that to keep yourself on track. And you can see where you are via the BMI. And this last one isn't there yet. This is the habit builder. So this one is the gamification of business building. So this exercise that I've just told you about, we're busy building an app called Habit Builder that we will tack onto this. We're doing a pilot at the moment. There are about 20 businesses that are running on this pilot, and we're busy ironing out the kinks in the product. And basically what it does is it's a gamified way of making sure that you step your way through the business building. So you step your way through the recommendations that are in the X-rays, the bottom line. So it's about daily number one, the weekly promises meeting, quarterly reviews, OKRs and the like, just joining those things together. So that we are hoping will be released towards the end of the year, assuming all's going well. And so far, it looks like the uptake is pretty good, and the enthusiasm around it is pretty good. But like all new products, it's got a few kinks in it too, so it needs some work. So that is the product card. So certainly you should make use of that. And then we also have a sales pitch deck. And again, tell me if you can see this thing. Is the hamster still treading there? Okay, so yeah, is basically a presentation. Okay, it's a PowerPoint presentation. I'm showing it to you in the on the web version, but essentially what it is a presentation that you can take your customer through, or you can share with them. It basically just says, hey, here's what this product is about, and here is some credential kind of work too. It goes through what the key things are about it, but more than that, it gives you a tool to help you with your sales efforts as well. There's some references over here. And there's a famous guy on the right-hand side there. Gee, there's Alistair too. Alistair's on the call. Hello, Alistair. I think I saw you joining earlier on. He had some nice things to say about it. Ditto then where it comes from. And here, you can actually go, yeah, this is the standard pricing, you know, the one that you get 15% off. You can go and change this number so that you can use it. So you can use the presentation. You can't change the other slides, but the key things over here, you can. Like, for example, you can go and put your web details and the like on it too. So you can take it, you can customize the key things so that it looks like it's coming from you, and it's got all of the material that you need in it as well. So you can actually use that. So that's the pitch deck. There is a recommended selling process too. It's a set of steps. Pretty obvious, really. But we've got quite a few coaches on here who, and again, can you see that? Yeah, you can. Okay, so essentially, yes, is a sales process. If you know anything about sales, you're going to say, "Oh, gee, Wayne, you're trying to teach me to suck eggs here," and that's probably true. But sometimes there are guys who are just starting out as a coach, and I've had a few very basic discussions with a few coaches, and sometimes there's some useful stuff in here. So use it, don't use it, your call. Okay. And what else have we got over here? Oh yeah, then we've got the masterclasses. You'll recall the first webinar we did. Those of you who've been with us since the beginning will remember we had that masterclass up in Johannesburg. And a bunch of you actually were there physically, and some of you were online. So these are videos from those masterclasses. So I spoke about the X-ray tool itself. Shelley Walters talked about sales And I found there were some very, very useful tools in there about how to manage sales as a consultant or a coach. And this content one, then Nico spent some time talking about how you create content and some tips and tricks around pulling together content and the like. So those three things are videos of that masterclass. And then there are some things from other webinars that we've done. You'll remember the second or third webinar we had was really about how you use the X-ray. So you can see over here, that's basically that webinar. So I'm not going to watch that, but it's there. And then from the webinar after that one, there was a product roadmap and the product vision, where we had Jason talking about the vision and we had Siam, the product manager, talking about the product. And also we had Jason talking about how we go about improving the product over time. And then this last, so I'm not going to go and show you those ones, but this last one is worthy of a little bit of a discussion, because I don't think we've advertised it well enough. This is about what lies under the hood in the X-ray. So there's an intro to the X-ray, and then there's some stuff on the 8 business disciplines. Okay, so if you wanted to understand more about them, there's that there. By the way, you can find this stuff in the academy as well, but this I find is a nice summary on what those 12 disciplines are, how to interpret the results in the X-ray, the scoring methodology that's in there, explanation of that, how to respond. And then it explains all of the disciplines, and it goes into particularly the strategy one. If you're not a boffin on strategy, this is a good place to understand what the X-ray is doing in the area of strategy. It'll give you a much better understanding of what's going on there. And then ditto a few of the others. It doesn't go through all of the elements or disciplines of the X-ray. It does strategy in a lot of detail. There's some stuff then. Let me go through this. Boom, 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 boom. And it goes to execution next. There's execution, so there's some stuff there on execution, and I think there's the people one as well. I think it stops after that, or maybe there's the board one. Yeah, there's the board one as well. Okay, so I think it does board. It doesn't go on, it doesn't get to sales and ops and finance and capital. We should probably update that. So that's basically what's in your resource center. And just so you know, we are busy building the equivalent for your client, for the SME. It's not quite complete yet. We're busy pulling all the bits together. So in the next few weeks, there will be one for the SME as well, and you'll be able to then point your clients to that as well. Again, a one-stop shop for a bunch of things. So that's the resource center. And then on the left-hand side here, you've got the academy. There are more people entering. This is a popular place today. There's Colin and Neville. Okay, so you will remember me talking about these boot camps. What we're doing with these boot camps, since the last time we spoke, we are busy upgrading them. So what Jason is doing is he's refilming some of them. He's busy with the strategy one at the moment, so breaking it into chunks and refilming it. So on an ongoing basis, you will be able to see that these things will evolve. And I think we have added at least one new one in here. I think we added I think it was the QRAP one that was the last one that we added. So there will be new boot camps that get added. And then on the resources side, Artie is working, she's been working for the last year, just finding resources and adding them to the academy. So by the way, and Alistair raised this with me quite a while back, if you have materials that you think could be living inside the academy, please talk to me and I'll link you up with Archie, and you can have a discussion about that as well. So in here is a bunch of articles, a whole lot of videos, tools and templates, and now well over 100 nano books. So there are nano books on just about every topic in there. So those books that Jason has used to gather the best practice on which the X-ray is based, there are shortened versions of them. So if you want to do the cheat way of reading up on culture or something, go find a nano book in there on it, and you can do the read up on it. So basically, for you guys as coaches, learning and growing your knowledge as a coach, the obvious go-to place for you is to come to the academy and see if there's something in there. Now you're going to find that not everything is in there, but it's a good first a port of call for you to find stuff for knowledge as well. So that is basically the dashboard. On the matter of support, if your clients have troubles, just always tell them their first port of call is support@next9.com, and they can get it they can make contact via the button over here. The team is based in India, so there is, depending on where you live, if you are Sakti, it's up your alley. If you're sitting in the States, it's a little less comfortable. Okay. So there is a little bit of a time difference. We'll say don't work 24 hours a day. We're too poor to afford a 24-hour a day response at the moment, but I guess in time, if there's demand, that will come as well. So that is what I wanted to share with you on a walk through the dashboard. Any comments, thoughts, questions on that? Otherwise, I'll assume I'm an absolute genius and covered everything you needed to know. Yeah.
I do have one question. It's more asking advice on how do you determine, or how do you ascertain or get to know do you need to know the client to make sure they've answered the questions correctly on the X-ray? Because they might misinterpret, or they may just be doing the whole, no, things are really great here. So is it getting more people at the client involved, or is it spending time with them beforehand, running through, a guideline on that?
Okay. My advice there, Nicole, is to have a discussion with the CEO up front. And the first thing is the people who are filling in the X-ray, really, at least filling in the survey, they ought to know the business. And the CEO can allocate who does what section. So he or she needs to be careful that he doesn't allocate sections to someone who knows nothing about it. Sometimes what happens is, in the interest of inclusivity, they include lots of people. So I have actually seen like 10, 12 people doing the survey. And then you get quite a spread of answers. And quite honestly, what starts happening then is the outliers, the people on the periphery, start guessing answers because they don't understand it. It is an in-depth survey, so you need to think about the question. And I've had people say that the level of question in some cases has terminology and concepts in it that are not familiar to them. So they've had to either go and find out more in the academy, or even Google it and then answer the question. I've had a few instances where I've actually sat with the CEO and gone through the survey. And I found their understanding of their own business wasn't always good. So I say for a particular question, well, this one here, they would say, I think I'm a level 3 here. And because I know the business, I'd say, well, haven't you got ABC in place? And they say, yes. Well, then I think you may be a 4. So there's a bit of a discussion. And I do know there are a few people who have got their team on the computer and the coach in the room, and they've worked through it together. So the coach asks the question, does a bit of explaining, and then says everyone gives their answer. Now, what you don't want is group speak, so you don't give them the answer. So One CEO out of Nairobi a few years back actually got to a team in the room and she told them what the answers were. That's not the intent. It was seeing the diversity of answers is actually a good thing. If there's quite a wide variety, these guys don't talk too much about it. If there's quite a lot of alignment, then it's pretty good. Does that answer your question, Nicole?
Yeah, very much so. Thanks.
Okay. By the way, that touches on, and we might as well now sort of go into into general Q&A. The thought is occurring to me that for a coach using this for the first time, it can be a little intimidating. I wanted to hear your thoughts on that. Am I overreacting there? Because I've been using it for a long time, so it's old hat to me. But I've had a few questions from a few coaches that suggest, gee, I'm a little scared of this thing, and I'm a little scared of actually using it in action in case I make a fool of myself. Do any of you feel that? Alistair's got his hand up.
Yeah, I'm happy to give some input on that. So,
yes,
I remember when you and I chatted the first time and around the coaching tool. What I actually did is I took my business through it, because it's difficult for me to go and take somebody else through it if I don't even understand what I'm going to be asked to answer and respond on. So I actually took my own business through it, did an analysis on it, went through it as if I was coaching somebody, which was myself in the process, to see how it works, all of that. It just put me in a much better position to be able to engage the clients, to be able to talk to them about the platform and the assessment before doing it, having gone through it myself as a business rather than trying to take somebody through it as a business. And I thought that was a useful exercise in terms of it.
Okay, no, that's helpful. Anybody else?
Wayne, I see there's a freemium model and then the 85. I'm still not sure how this charging thing works, to be honest. So when is the freemium model available? And you then mentioned you changed the pricing of $85.
Yes. So let me talk through that. That's good, because what we're doing at the moment is the freemium version is meant to be there for an SME who lands on our site, or a coach for that matter, and just wants to play around with it. So the free version, if you click on the button on our website and play around with the free version, you basically get access to the dashboard for free, obviously, premium. And you only get access to the execution piece. So you can take the execution part of the survey for nothing and get the report, and you can play around with the X-ray using the execution piece. So you can access the execution pieces inside the academy as well. And again, what you'll see the extent of everything that's in the academy, but you'll only be able to access the execution stuff. So in simple terms, the freemium version, you can access all of the stuff that relates to execution for nothing. Why execution? Basically, we believe if you're going to nail it, scaling a business, the most important thing you can do is execute. And in order to execute, you better get a reasonable idea of strategy, but basically you need to get those rhythms and the OKRs and those kinds of things. The second part, we think, by the way, is you have the right team on the ground, build an A team. And the third one is probably culture. Now, making the assumption here that you've got enough money and all of that too. So basically, the freemium version, you can play around with all of the execution stuff. So what you guys as coaches should be doing is if they want to try it out, you can either send them to the website, or you can ask me for a link for it. But the simplest thing to do is just go click on the on the NXT-9 website, tell them to go and play there, and they can play with the freemium version there too. Now the pricing, we changed the pricing in April. In April, we shifted from, and I forget exactly what the number was. I think it was a rand number before that. We shifted across to a dollar-based number because more and more coaches are now actually not in South Africa. They are elsewhere. So we just decided let's go with dollars. And ultimately, because we've now put the navigator there, so there's a tool for ongoing engagement so that your client ought to be able to see ongoing value. We thought now we will switch across to this sort of like a SaaS model kind of thing where we charging on a monthly basis. So the $85 a month is the current pricing. And for the first year, we charge upfront. So we say $85 a month times 12 equals $1020. And that's the price for the first year. And I should probably just talk about payment gateway there too. We're still invoicing manually. So when you guys use the X-ray, you get a 15% discount off it. Remember, I said to you, you can either say to me, invoice my client, or invoice me as the coach. There's only one coach who's come back to me and said, I'll probably use the invoice direct to SME route. And there was a particular reason why the person wanted to do that. And the person's actually on this call. Won't name who it is, but everybody else has said, no, buddy, you invoice me, my client, my relationship, our basket with other stuff, invoice me. So we give you a 15% discount off the sticker price for that. And the payment gateway, I'm told, will be done by August. Okay. Now the payment gateway I've been promised it a few times, and a few times we've made a strategic call to introduce a product feature rather than the payment gateway, which, seeing as I'm talking to you guys, I'm quite happy with that, but it does introduce a bit of pain for me, which we end up having to invoice manually, but that's going to shift. Yeah, so that's sort of invoicing and payment stuff. Alistair, I like the way you ask a question. You stick his finger up like this.
It's the easiest way for you to see without
Yeah.
interrupting you. In terms of South Africa, are you looking at keeping a dollar-based price for South Africa? I know obviously that makes sense overseas, but from a South African perspective, will it be dollar-based pricing to South Africa as well, or rand-based pricing?
So what we do, Alistair, for the South African contingent is when we invoice you, Desiree, who does the invoicing, checks the spot rate and converts it into rands and sends you something in rand.
Perfect.
Now,
We can work on that dollar price effectively. The spot on that day is what they're going to pay.
That's what we're doing now. But to be brutally honest, ultimately, we've got to find a way to automate all of these things, because we're a startup. NXT-9's a startup, and what we've got to do is get efficient as well. So we've got to automate these things. So exactly where it will turn out, we'll see.
I'll take it offline, but let them have a chat with me about the payment gateways. I can probably help with that, especially the automation aspect.
Yeah, they're looking at Zoho. So
yeah,
I pointed them in that direction already.
Yeah, well, that's fine. We've got to get the subscription thing right, but it's not straightforward at the moment because there's no direct integration with the subscription. So I'll just chat them through that so they understand.
Okay, I'll make a note of that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll explain how we need to do it within Zoho, and then it'll work.
Cool. Because ultimately, I want to run all of this automatically. Okay, so thanks for that. Pete, are you stretching or are you asking a question?
I wanted to ask a question.
Go for it.
Yeah. So I wanted to find out. Yes, thank you very much, Wayne. I wanted to find out from you regarding this premium. Is there an expiry time to the usage of it? First question.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
It's 12 months. 12 months.
12 months. Oh,
yeah.
That's a long time.
So we'll put it this way: when you pay up front, you're paying for the first year effectively, okay? Because we're charging you 85 per month times 12. After that, renewal will be on a monthly basis, and our logic is we will have the payment gateway in place in order to facilitate that. Okay, just think about how other software services happen. It's likely we'll copy that. Okay.
Okay.
Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Yeah. So back to the freemium. It's only execution that the person sees. Based on your experience, how long does it take for you to see a customer convert from just testing out a freemium to really buy the product? Is there any gestation from your experience? What have you seen, or even has it really worked?
yes, it has worked. There have been quite a few examples of people who have seen it and up. What happens is a little button that you can click on that says upgrade, and when you say upgrade, I get notified. Okay, then I engage with a person. So yes, there've been quite a few upgrades. Some of them like immediately, and those are usually guys who look at the product online, on the website, and say, yes, this is going to solve my pain point, and they straight away upgrade. There are others who look at it and do nothing. So I can see what's going on there. So the answer is mixed bag. I can't say that I can give you a time period, Suleiman. It varies.
Okay. So last question. If I refer my prospects and they get registered there, how do I get a notification and know that they've registered, or you will know, or you pass it back to me so that I know?
That's a fine question. My goodness me. You have just put your finger on something that I hadn't thought of. The man's a genius. Coach customers. Let me make a note. Yeah, no, that is a good point. I think that's a weak link. I don't think we have a way of catching that. So if someone goes to the website, one of your clients goes to the website and you send them there, and they then link up, I have no way of doing that. But I'm pretty sure that you would tell me. And I'm pretty sure.
No problem. No problem.
For now, and I'm pretty sure I would believe you too. Andrew?
Sorry, Wayne. Yeah, listen, that's a great question, by the way. And for me, it's key from a lead gen perspective. You know, it's for me, this is a great tool, but there isn't a way for me to use it as a lead gen, because if I'm going to send people to the free version, I have to come to Wayne, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to get, and it goes back to my question that you and I had via email in regard to testimonials. I want to use this tool as a strategic tool with the likes of the law firms that I coach and accountancy firms that I coach, because my ideal clients are already clients of theirs. You know, but I want to be able to control this, to know who's doing what, when they're doing it, et cetera, et cetera.
So let's go down that route a little bit. Talk a little more about what would make your job easier in that space. What would we need to give you to make that easier? So apart from the testimonials, I know that. And by the way, we've got a coach who does have a bunch of financial clients. And what I've asked the marketing people to do is pull together some testimonials from that. And what we might do is actually link you up with that guy anyway. He's usually on the call, but he's not here today. But we are working on that. I haven't forgotten you, but carry on. Okay, so for me, it's what I want to do is obviously step number one, and this is very, very high level, right? So I'm coaching my one of my law firms this afternoon, right? I want them to use the X-ray, them to go, this is a great tool, et cetera, et cetera. I want to give them the free version, and hopefully they upgrade to the all singing, all dancing. And I want them to then promote on my behalf. You need to speak to Andrew. He's got this great tool, all right, that will help your business. But I want to be able to get to, and they go to me, ABC and XYZ business. And when I give them the link, I want to be able to see, ABC has actually logged on, they've registered. Okay, and I can then go and have a sensible discussion once but for me, this needs to be, to make it easier, it needs to be a part of the dashboard.
Okay. Can I make a suggestion to Andrew's question?
Yes.
Question. Okay, so to give you an idea of how we do it I'm a ZOA authorized partner here in South Africa, and this might be the answer for what you need, Wayne, and I'm happy to show you how they do it. They've basically, in the partner portal, have a section there where we can register what is, they call it deals. And basically that deal page, it's a form that we fill in. There's the client's name, the email address, the company name, prospect, all of that. And that then registers against that domain. That potential client gets linked to myself as a partner. What it then means is nobody else who's a Zoa partner can come and register that client as a potential lead until such time as that deal period expires. So that way I can see, I then have the ability to update status, all of those sort of things. That way, at least, I think, Suleiman, that would then, if you've registered that client because you're engaging and they go and then sign up on their own, Wayne would be able to pick it up from that deal register as well. But that is then, it's a self-managed part of the portal. It's a page on the portal where that can get managed. And I think that helps you, Wayne, from your side in linking sign-ups to the actual coaches itself. And I think,
Gotcha.
Andrew, that would probably help you on your side in terms of that visibility and just managing it.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. Alistair, thanks for that. It's just, and maybe I'm missing something, but for me, it's just adding another layer. I just want to go to one place. I want to log into the to the X-ray and to the portal, and that's where I want to go. I don't want to have to, and maybe I'm missing something here. I don't know if I'm having to go elsewhere to find out who's doing what, or I just want to go to one place from a simplicity perspective.
And that's exactly what I'm suggesting. That's how Zoa does it. There's a partner portal where we access everything.
Oh,
we can
okay.
do that same, Wayne. We do the same because within the coaches thing, we've got that admin hub where we go and upload and create all the clients and all of that if we add them ourselves. What I'm saying is just have a menu link there to register deals or leads we're working on as coaches so that those leads are linked to us.
Okay, so there's a very important feedback there from Andrew, and I absolutely agree with him. And by the way, I've been jumping up and down about that for some time. Everything that the coach needs must be in one place, okay? So the fact that I said to you, there's a link on the website, I say begrudgingly, because that link should be on your dashboard, okay? You should never go back to the website again. The website is there for people who don't know us and are searching for something, and they get drawn there by marketing or whatever. But once you're a coach using the tool, everything should be on your dashboard. So that's the intent.
Wayne, a suggestion I have is as a short-term measure. A question I asked earlier in the chat was to say, is it possible to invite somebody to a freemium version? Because that's a way of kind of knowing that if the person then signs up for the freemium version, maybe it's traceable back to the original link that was sent to them via the coach portal. That's just a way of getting them on board.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so you would send it to them by email, right?
Well, I don't know. I saw on your dashboard when you shared that there's a place where you can go to invite a client. So I'm presuming for now that's available when somebody's already paid, now you invite them.
Yeah.
My thinking is if I'm wanting to share NXT-9 with a couple of prospects that I've thought of, I can talk to them about it and then send them, invite them through my portal to the freemium version so they can just try it out.
So it's like an affiliate link. It should be like an affiliate link. It's tied to you. You know, it's you that sent it.
Yes.
Well done, Lee.
Yes. I'm with you. I'm not a technical expert. By the way, I'm going to get Sam to watch this video. Okay. And we might come back to you, to the people who know more than I do about this. But I think you're heading in the right direction. Put it this way: if there's something that goes from your email to one of your clients, okay, and you CC me, Wayne at next9.com, it will automatically be added to your records in our CRM in Zoho. So then it's there anyway. So that's just a thought that's occurred to me now. As an interim thing, it will be there. And what it does is it then creates that client in there, and then I know that this is Lynn's client. Alistair, you look like you were going to comment on that. Yeah.
Yeah, a very easy way to manage that is that each coach that is signed up on the NXT-9 platform is given a referral code. That referral code can be included in the email that they send out. So a very good example, I have a referral code as a Zoa partner that links up the client when they sign up to me as a partner. Now that can be done. We can do the same thing from a coaching perspective. And my approach to a client is to say, look, please use this referral code when you sign up. It will link up your account to myself as a coach on the NXT-9 platform. And that'll enable me to be able to manage the coaching relationship that we're going to do going forward. And that'll make your life even easier, Wayne, because you've got a unique code. We can have that in the CRM as a field. It captures it from the email, and we can then automate things in the CRM to link those clients to the coach themselves.
Lovely. Yeah.
So look at it from a referral code perspective. That's going to be the easiest way to manage it.
Yeah.
Because that's a link as well. And then you can have a page. So what you can do is when they sign up, there's a page, they put that referral code in or something. It could even be a field on the sign up page. If there's a referral code, that then comes through with the sign up by the client, and there's that referral code there recorded.
Gotcha. No, gotcha. That's a good suggestion. Thank you for that. Okay.
Okay.
Suleiman?
I have another. Yes, I have another question again. So,
Sure.
so here in Nigeria, we have an organization called Bank, right? Both small and medium-sized organizations, sometimes very huge ones too. And one of the things they do as part of their due diligence, a loan is extended to a business, is to sometimes look at the business itself and look at the viability, areas where they have challenges before they extend it to these people. So if, for example, I sit with them and show them this tool of ours, how would you treat, because the way they hold workshops for small business, how would you treat where they have one customer that has umbrella company who they are doing analysis of their business? That's one version of the question. The second version of it is that I know an organization here that is a VC that has like 3 or 4 companies that are doing very well here. How would you approach a VC to present the product so that they can also to apply the same tool on those businesses that are under their umbrella? So those are my questions. I don't know if you may.
Yeah. You did break up a bit, but I think I've got the gist of it. The bottom line is the way we've handled the VCs is we've treated them like a coach, okay? And we've done the same with business development organizations as well. People like accelerators and the like, people who help a bunch of other businesses. So either you've got a portfolio or you've got a collection of clients that you help build businesses. So what we do is we treat you like a coach, and if they want to, I give them coach access, and then they can trigger the X-rays for their portfolio or the businesses that are on their programs. Sometimes, though, they don't actually coach, and they don't want to do the review of the X-ray and all of that, and that all they really want is some kind of admin overview. So we are working on the capability at the moment to give second access to an SME. So there's coach access, and then someone else could also have access to the same SME, and there are a few different applications for it. So in the case of the VC, they might not want to be a full coach, because then you've got to review the X-rays, in which case I keep control and I trigger the X-ray for them, but they then have oversight. Linked to that, we've had a request or a few requests for, I have a bunch of coaches who work with the same business. How can I transfer an SME from one coach to another? That's also in development at the moment. So the simple answer to your question, Suleiman, is if they like it, they can talk to me, and
Okay.
I will give them access. Okay.
Okay.
In your case, you would say, well, actually, in fact, that VC is my client. Okay.
Yes.
So what you can do is you can trigger all of their X-rays from your dashboard. So for their portfolio, you trigger them all. That what will be missing though is the VC won't be able to see what they're up to. That capability is coming. It's not there now. It's likely to be a Q4 thing. Okay.
Okay. No problem. Thank you. Thank you.
Cool. 5 minutes left. I just wanted to give you guys an update. I asked you last time about the opt-in thing. We are getting requests. People are, by word of mouth, they are hearing about the X-ray, and they're also landing directly on our website. So when they come along, we do need a coach to do the debriefs. So last time I asked for some input on the thought that we would have some kind of opt-in program for coaches. You guys gave me some feedback. I've got some additional feedback from a few people who weren't on the call last time and watched the video. So what I'm doing at the moment is putting together a bit of a standard operating procedure on how that thing would work. And as soon as I've got that tidy and we're all happy with it internally, I'll share with you. But basically, it will work pretty much along the lines of what we said last time. We just find a way to understand who's interested, find a way to quality control. The coach then does the debrief and then gets access to that client for future business. NXT-9 gets a small cut of that. That's basically how the model will work, and I'm just working out the details of that. So I'll come back to you on that. Okay. I think that is probably us for the day, unless there are some additional questions that anyone has. A nicely interactive program. I wondered whether A, there would be nobody on the call, because it's just general Q&A, and B, whether there would be a good punchy stuff to discuss. And you guys have done well on both counts. Sakti, did that look like a question there? Yes, it does. That's the hand. Stop the bus is saying, I want to get on.
I saw Sean putting up his virtual hand up, but I've grabbed your attention. So I'll quickly finish the question. Basically, as you're graduating, as we are all climbing up the ladder, a couple of things I can see happening is, one is what Andrew drew our attention to, and what Alistair answered in detail. Some sort of an affiliate program needs to probably built up for coaches or practitioners who want to have NXT appearing on their website on a light touch basis. They may not immediately like to engage into it, but there can be an affiliate program, because it's already some kind of an affiliate structure, because you're talking about passing out a 15% commission. So if somebody's interested, he or she can have this NXT featured on their site. So that's one thing I thought is important to structure. The second thing is, like when I was getting certified by Marshall Goldsmith for their stakeholder-centric coaching, they have this central website where the coach's bio is posted. So if someone is hunting for a coach, they will go to that website and look for a coach in a particular geography, and then decide on following the person up and reaching out. So probably that's another suggestion, taking off from what Andrew and Alistair were talking, to have a kind of a coach identity built on the NXT site with a kind of a code, which can further go down the pyramid and have an affiliate relationship built up in the future. Just thought of sharing this. Thank you.
On our radar screen, that one. Okay, the first one, Alistair will tell you that NXT-9 already appears on his website. Okay, there's a little box at the bottom in the middle that's there. So we're doing it on an unofficial basis at the moment. We simply haven't got around to formalizing, and I know, Sakti, you were hot on that one as well. We do need to get that thing sorted out. So if there's someone who wants to put something on their website about NXT-9 and the product, just talk to me, and I'll have a chat with you about that. The second one, the ecosystem. We know that the use of the X-ray is going to lead to a few things. The client is going to want some help, okay? And your client is going to ask you for things that you can't do. Okay, because unless you're an expert on everything, there's going to come a time when your knowledge is saturated. So the notion of an ecosystem is on our radar screen. We do believe it's necessary. It will come at some point, and the coaches, buyers, and that will be there. We think, for example, if someone asks for an X-ray, if they have an X-ray via you as the coach, well, then you answer the question for them. But if they came directly and didn't and needed some help, then they could go and have a look at a collection of mugshots like we've got on the screen. Yeah, so gee, I like the look of Sakti over there. I think I'll have a bit of him. Thank you very much. And there's a bit of a bio and then a link up. So that is on our radar screen. Yes.
And if you
Sean,
need the,
yeah.
Sorry, Wayne, if the guys need to just get an idea of how some of these companies do it, I'm happy to take them through, for example, the Zoho setup and some of the other partnerships so they can see, and then from there formulate that sort of page and structure. Okay.
Cool. Okay, back.
Wait,
Sean,
Wayne,
you had
just
your
a
hand
quick
up, very
one.
patient. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I know time's up, but have you got any qualitative feedback from SMEs that have made use of the portal learning modules and how they felt around, first of all, the quality of it, navigating it? Did they have time for it?
I am thinking about that. I will come back to you, Sean.
Cool.
I'm not recalling something specific on that, but I'm sure if we asked the question, we would get it. We've not been particularly clever at getting testimonials and that, and we probably should for each of the different sections of it. So if I don't come back to you in the next little while, please send me a rocket via email and keep it on the front foot. Okay.
Will do. Thanks.
Okay, guys, it is top of the hour. Is there something that I see there are a whole lot of messages here? Let me just go through that quickly. Oh, you can send your miserable weather to Durban for the weekend. Okay. Delete freemium version. Yes. Yes. Okay, there you've answered that question. If we cannot find a resource in the academy, but think the resource may be of benefit for other coaches to understand, can we suggest? Yes, you can. Talk to me about that, and I'll link you up with RT. We've done that already. On book summaries, yes. Get abstract, yes. IID, thank you for that information. I will pass that on. Playing around with the free version, that's Lynn. I've made up a client. And the dashboard is a client experiment. Okay. Can the company name be included in the email as a number of them or just on Gmail? I'm not following that, Guy Woodcroft. Just give me a little bit of an explanation there.
I was copied on a couple of emails, going out to people I hadn't heard of for this X-ray debrief thing.
Yes.
And a couple of them are just Gmails, so I don't know who the companies are yet and things.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, guys, let's park it there. I am very sensitive to not overstaying my welcome. So I will stop